Hey, welcome back to Sunbird Garage. Look, I got a haircut and look, tail panel's on the car. Well, that's, you know. The infamous Sunbird tail panel. So they built first generation H-body Sunbirds from 76 to 1980, but the hatchback wasn't an option until 1977. So 77 to 80 they built hatchbacks. And whatever they used to make these tail panels, they didn't put enough UV protectant in them or something, because they all turn to dust for the most part over time. They just crumble and fall apart. I was lucky to find this one intact. It's still pliable, but you can see the surface isn't in the best condition. It's got a lot of issues. I'll insert a little video here of one that's crumbling in my hand that I found. Hey, look, part of a rear tail panel for a Sunbird. Awesome. And so every Sunbird you find is missing this part. So what do? Well, fortunately we got a guy in our community, Doug, that makes a fiberglass version of it. So this video will be me working on that fiberglass replacement. Yep, the infamous Sunbird tail panel. This has got to be one of the few that's still in existence that's in one piece. I'm not going to use this one, but it's a good template to see where it's supposed to, fit and be trimmed and whatnot. The surface is pretty bad. I don't know if there's products that would work to salvage this thing. It's still flexible. It hasn't turned to dust yet. I mean, it's pretty dry, but it might be an option for somebody, I suppose. I do think it shrank, because I got that tail light in just fine, and this one seems to be very tight. And there's a bigger gap here. I guess they're the same. Maybe I'm confusing myself. But this tail light was a pain to get in. Didn't want to snap in around this this corner over here. But yep, I'm going to use this as my template to work the Doug Basher special into my car. I think this is one of his early ones. I bought this from him, oh God, 4 years ago. I picked it up at the Woodward Dream Cruise in 2017 from him, and drove home with it wedged between me and the seats. I was nice and itchy when I got home, but it was worth it. But yep, he even marked out where the taillights go, so I can cut out where they're supposed to be. But yeah, it's got extra material, so I'll have to trim it. Dave Marsden put one on his car, and it looks phenomenal. So Dave gave me a bunch of pictures that I will review. And I think this is the next big project that I'm going to work on, is to get that fit onto here. That'll keep me busy. First test fit of the tail panel. It needs a lot of work, it needs a lot of trimming. This part needs to be cut out, I'm pretty sure. This is the original one. Not from this car, but of a Sunbird. You can see it's quite a bit different right there. So I think I need to trim this out, make it go in. Same on the other side. This flange is a lot wider than the stock one. But I think other than that, it'll go. I mean, obviously need to do a lot of cleaning up under here. Probably need to trim back this a bit, which you can't see my finger, but That's definitely wider than factory, so I think that needs to be trimmed a little bit probably. See, this is only, I don't know, 1.25 inches or so, and that's definitely wider than that. So, but yeah. Now look what we got going on back here. First cuts on the tail panel. Fits pretty good. It'll suck in, no problem. I gotta trim here some more, I think. Whoops. There we go. But yeah, this'll work. This'll do just fine. This is just a rough fit. I gotta trim this top flange a bit, I think, at least back to here. But yeah, all I did so far was trim off the corner a little bit and trim back the flanges so they can do this without dropping it on the ground, not breaking it, crying like a baby. But I trimmed those flanges back so it would fit in there. But 15 minutes worth of work, and I like it. Good job, Doug. Slowly but surely making progress. So I think I've got the general outline done. I need to just kind of smooth those edges. I started working on the tail lights, and I cut a small hole first, stuck this in there, and drew a line around the tail light, and then I cut inside that line. It doesn't fit yet. That was just my first rough cut, but I can see I'm pretty darn close. I'm worried about that corner a little bit, but I'll go slow until it fits, I guess. Make sure it's tight up against over here. I think it's looking good. So yeah, other than I cut my damn hole too big here like a dummy. Yeah, obviously there's no little ledge in there. But if you cut it right, I don't know that you need it. You don't notice it. This side I did good on. Needs a little bit of trimming right here just to make the line straight. But this side's good. I'm happy with this side. That side I gotta fix. And like I said, I smoothed down that edge so that it's somewhat flat. I probably need to shave a little bit more off. I did pour some fiberglass resin in the back side of this on both sides so that I could smooth it down. I don't know that I went through Doug's original fiberglass, but I think I'm pretty close. So I don't know that I want to go any farther, but yeah, big giant air pocket, air bubble hole there. So I've got some Duraglass that I'm going to use to fill in these bigger holes. You know, like around the top here and here and over here, and all these little voids and whatnot. I'll fill in with Duraglass, and then I'll skim the whole thing with Rage Gold probably. Hey, look at me doing some work. Put some more Duraglass on this sucker. Basically just to true up the edges. Some of the edges were broken off or missing, or voids from air bubbles in the mold. But yep, I think this will take care of the big parts. Then after I get this knocked down into shape, then I'll just do a bunch of coats of just regular Rage Gold, which is the body filler that I typically use. So, but it's coming along. Tail panel update. So yeah, I've been sanding on this thing for a little while. Pretty close, I think, to having all the the big areas fixed that I needed to patch. You know, there were some edges that were broke off, either from the mold or what have you. But I fixed all those edges, mostly on this top edge here. And there's a big groove right here, and another big groove right there. I just filled those, but pretty happy with how the edges are coming out. Still a whole lot of sanding to do, but I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. So I think once I get these sanded down, I did a lot of work in here. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to just get in there and sand that smooth. I might just get a Dremel bit and go at it with that, I don't know. But yeah, it's coming along. And hopefully I can start putting some regular body filler on it this weekend and start doing some finish sanding. Coming along, coming along. So this edge here is pretty darn good. Sucks in a little bit more there. Smoothed off my spot here. This side is much better now. Put the corners on here. I'll go there. There's tape that goes in the back side of these. Holds that front edge in place because there's only one bolt that holds it in. But those hold up and they cover that whole seam there. They go right to the body line on both sides. This one's a lot looser. So, but it covers that entire bit. But I'm liking it. I gotta come back, and there's a lot of little spots like this that need filling and smoothing, and I'm not really looking forward to getting into these corners here. They're gonna be a pain. License plate will cover that back side, but I gotta smooth out these corners and whatnot. Then I'm gonna come back. It's got a bunch of little, you know, pinholes and small voids and whatnot on the surface that I didn't put filler on yet. So I'll clean all this out, blow it all out, put a skim coat on it, and then we should be in pretty good shape. Okay, we got the top, I think, where we want it to be. I skim coated most of it. I skim coated the entire face of it. And then here I got a lot more sanding to do down here still. But this side's coming out pretty good. I even got these roughed in pretty well. But this is what it looked like when I just skim coated it. It was really, I'm not a body guy for sure. But that's what it looked like when I put the skim coat on. And after sanding it, this is what I wanted. Nice and smooth, filled in all the little voids. Another air pocket right there. So I'll have to fill that sucker in. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass to start sand inside these areas here. I actually used the angle grinder to rough this in, and then once I roughed it in like this, came back with some 80 grit and smoothed it out. Still some pockets in here. I still got a lot of work to do in these corners here. And then I'll sand all this. And then hopefully I just have some smaller voids to fill with maybe some spot putty. I gotta do this whole bottom still. Sand all that. I gotta sand this some more. There's a little void right here, but again, that spoiler cap comes to about here, so I'm not too worried about that, but I'll make that better than what it is. Getting in here is gonna be a nightmare, but I got this edge pretty well where I want it to be. So yeah, it's coming along. So let's do a comparison. You can see on the original, it's just got a flap here basically, and this one has a little drop down. I guess I could probably cut that off, but I figured it adds strength. I mean, it's all hidden by the bumper. The bumper goes over top of it, kind of like this. Bumper goes over top of it, so you'll never see it. Let's see what else is different. Like I said, it's got that little notch here where that other tang goes in there that I might have to do over here. This is pretty much the same license plate. The original one has got a chunk of metal in here. This metal, there's a metal piece of metal behind there. It's riveted in, giant rivets. Where this one's all made out of fiberglass. I gotta put a little bit more filler in there and smooth that out a little bit more. Oh, the other difference. This one kind of has a shelf. I don't know what else you would call it, a little shelf. Whereas this one's just a hole. But once you put it on the car, I mean, this taillight's pop through there anyway, so you can't see it. And then this one has these little things that clip behind the taillights. Whereas this one wouldn't, but let's see, top. These little metal bars that go across here that I won't use. I won't need them. This is, flexible, whereas this one's, stiff. So I'll just put screws through it over here where the holes are in the body. This one's a little shorter than that one, but it's trimmed to allow for access for the gasket, the hatch seal. So, oh, see the little nipple here on the top, where it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be a little nipple on the top. They were on here. I sanded them off like a dummy, but that God, I can't talk. Spoiler corner covers it all up anyway. So I was gonna rebuild them back with some Duraglass, but it's like, you know what? Once you put that corner on there, you can't see it anyway. This covers it all up. And we'll put that on there. So I said I ain't gonna really worry about that. So, oops, something like that. So it covers it up anyway. Can't see it, but yeah, I think it's coming out good. Well, it's pretty well mounted. Well, not 100%. I still gotta mount these sides over here, but I did the holes across the top and mounted it in. So what I did was I drew a straight line and measured each hole location across there and drilled the holes. No, I'm kidding. I drilled them from the bottom of this. At least I did that for 3 of the holes on each side. This one you can get to from the bottom. This one you can get to from the bottom. This one you can get to from the bottom, which is another story. This one you can't. There's a little panel that goes across it, so you had to drill it from the top. So I did measure that one, and I got it pretty much spot on. So I got these screwed across. It fits really good with that. I still have to put the brackets in there to secure it when I when I screw this one down, it twists it enough that this doesn't line up anymore. So I got to put this side in first and then screw this down. You can see there's a pretty big gap there. So, I mean, it'll squeeze down some, and there'll be some room there for, I'm assuming water has to drain out here somehow. You know, it flows in there. There's a gasket that goes on here, but, you know, water's going to have to run down through here. And be able to get out somewhere, so. But, yeah, these screws work pretty good. They're just number 8 screws with a big, like, flat washer thing on them. But yeah, they worked great. They are self-tappers, but I screwed them right into the original holes that were there. So I started doing my finish sanding. I got some spot putty on here I gotta sand off, but I've got it knocked down from 80 to 120. I've got 220 I'll hit it with, and then I'm not sure if I need to go any finer than that for primer. But yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll prime it. I ran out of time today, but it's looking good. Well, it's all one color. Lots of sanding and filler and sanding and filler and sanding and filler. And I think it's pretty good. There's a couple little spots here and there that probably need some attention, right there. But hell, I'm happy with how it looks as is. So this is the epoxy primer. I had to go buy another $28 can of that damn epoxy primer, but it's good, and I wanted it nice and sealed up with a good quality primer. So I will let that dry, and then I will come back with some high build. Put a few coats of that on there, sand it, spray it, sand it, probably twice, see how it looks, and then I think it'll be done. And that's all I'll do to it until I get to the, get around to actually painting this car, doing whatever I'm gonna do to this car. It'll need, sealer. That's what I gotta do, high build on this and all that blocking and fun stuff. And I got a couple spots that need attention. Obviously my hatch needs fixed. My doors will be the next big project I think I work on. But yeah, pretty happy with this. So it's clean back here now. Blew it all out, wiped it all out. Yeah, still some dust here and there. Didn't wipe it out real good. I still have to wipe out. In here, this is all dirt. So I gotta wipe all that out. But that's for another day. I'll get rid of the helicopter though. Ow! So, yep. I think I'm gonna sand this thing, put a couple coats of high build on it, block it out, and it'll basically be ready for paint. I guess I need to drill my holes for my lights, just so I have those drilled. I don't want to drill after I paint it, so maybe I'll do that next. And then I'll block it, high build it, block it some more, and maybe paint this sucker. Who knows? So this is how it looks today. It's still not finished. It's mostly finished. It's still an epoxy primer. I need to do the high build primer on it and block sand it out. But it fits really well. It took a lot of work, as you saw, to get it to this point. But she is in one piece. This was the last big project I did other than painting the jams in the car before it got cold here in Northeast Ohio. So as soon as it warms up, I hope to get that epoxy or primed, sanded down, and ready for base coat, clear coat. Because I think I want to get this thing painted, the tail panel painted and onto the car in the spring. Now obviously I still have to do the rest of the paint on the car and body work and whatnot. And the next really big project I do is going to be getting the doors on the car. There ain't no doors on there. I do have doors. They're okay, but they need a lot of work too. So with that, I mean, I'm basically up to date on my videos now. So like I said, most of what I've put together has been historical. Over the last 4 years, 5 years actually, I've been working on this project, and I'm not the quickest, both mentally and work-wise, I guess. But I'm pretty proud of where I'm at with the car. Still have a long way to go. So hopefully I'll have more videos coming soon. But I hope you guys have enjoyed so far. If you have any questions, you have any comments, please let me know. Okay? Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff they say. But I appreciate anybody that does watch and comments. So thank you very much.